Hey, there we are. Here we are. What's good? I'll throw up the screen for the thingy in a second. How's it going? Busy. With all the streamings and whatnot. I had Stein. I popped on for a little bit of Greyhorns and Dustin this afternoon. I think that was pre-recorded, so keep an eye out Greyhorn Pagans podcast for part of that show. I popped in with with Jules and Dustin. Talked a little bit about quantum science and things like that on it. Funny enough, I thought it was jumping into the box saga, and so I had to rewire my brain in the middle of the set. But anyway, how's it going? And as you can see, I'm working on it. I just moved my intro to the intro thing, and that's all I've really set up for. It's, slowly, because I don't want to just sit there and labor in front of my computer and check off 20 million boxes, just because I have to run through this computer to make it happen, and this computer's giving me agita and all that. So we are gonna keep on keeping on with good old Abby over here. So whoops, not that one. Share screen and share. All right. So let's see how this looks on screen here. If I go like that, doing that just makes me go away. I want to be right here. I want to be right here in the little side bit. Actually, let me double check and see how this looks. You know what? That looks a little bit better, just because I'm going to have sidebar with all this. I wish I knew how to make it a little bit bigger on screen. Let me double check this. If I go, yeah, that works a little bit. All right, that should be fine. All right, so we were roughly in here. We were roughly on this page, and I feel like, didn't I? Yeah, no. We came to chapter 3, I'm pretty sure. For friendship, marriage, and love affairs. We're moving on to that. Last chapter at the end of yesterday's show was cool because we were going into battle magic. As well as healing magic in battle was also a present is present here, as you can see, to revive exhausted troops, so on and so forth, right? And then these magics can be then expanded upon as we've discussed in certain ways, right? So, did this get knocked over? I didn't even take it. All right, forget it. Ridiculous. See, this is how much, like, I set this up an hour ago, made food. It takes me an hour to cook food and eat it, But I enjoy doing things this way too much. So it's going to be done this way, whether anybody likes it or not. And let me double check here. Do I see the chat? There we go. There's a chat. How much of a tart am I for not knowing who Abramelin is? I don't know. I don't know, Bird Dog. Only, I guess only if, I don't know. I found out, I heard about the book and that it ought to be read, from, I believe, I don't want to misquote, but I'm pretty sure it was a video. It was one of the segment drops in Black Earth Productions channel. And I believe Abramelin the Mage was made reference to in it, if that's exactly where I found it. I'm not 100%. I can't be 100% on that. But I then had it on my list for quite some time. And this is me getting around to it on the damn list. So I wouldn't beat yourself up. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that that haven't read it yet. There's a lot of stuff out there, and only so many and like certain people are not going to drive you in certain directions. I can certainly see why you wouldn't be driven to Abramelin the Mage. Just because, like, it's not like Enochian. It's not a number of things, right? And like has been said, it seems to be secularly open as good magical practice, right? And a lot of people, they kind of want something that came from something in particular, or from a more renowned name in the occult, so on and so forth, right? So anyway, let's get started. Chapter 3 for friendship, marriage, and love affairs. To make an unbreakable friendship between two people. So it's going to be very interesting thinking about this stuff, right? Because this kind of thing, I would imagine there has to be some prior understanding to your relationship, right? Because this kind of thing, it's, it makes me think of love potions, and I don't like love potions. I think that, there's something like, if the love potion is acting upon the interest of my desire, then I don't want to have anything to do with it. I've got a bad enough time as it is, doing well, just putting out my interest of desire, being how I am, and how I can sometimes just be fucking stupid. Just be really fucking stupid. Before sunrise, bake a cake from honey spice and flour. Write onto it in the names of the two people. Leave it under the open sky for 7 nights. Every morning before sunrise, take the cake and say the following prayer over it. Oh, Adonai, you, God, Zebaoth. Interesting. So why is it bringing, oh, Adonai, you, God, Zebaoth? That's with a capital Z, mind you, right? That's, let me double check on what Zebaoth is, because I don't quite remember if this name was mentioned. Zebaoth, a Hebrew word meaning armies or hosts. So Zebaoth is kind of like Sabaoth, and it means Lord of hosts or Lord of armies. Okay. Was that even mentioned in the last one, considering there were a lot of armies in question? It probably was. Maybe I heard it yesterday or whatever. I just found it interesting how it's very evocative here. So this is the God of the armies, the God of the hosts. Please accept this work and intention of your servant, and send your might into the hearts of name and name. These they will connect with each other faithfully and lovingly, as did the hearts of Jonathan and David, and so that each will love themselves as truly as they do their own heart. The soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. 1 Samuel 18:1. Then give the cake to the two people to eat. After, okay, that's it, right? And you can see that there's a lot of this is everything going through it is like, I expected it to be basically simple because of it, because I expected it to be something natural, something, kind of Talmudic adjacent. My expectation was that there would be some more like this kind of thing, right? Sometimes you hear about like there's a lot of witchcraft out there where the recipe is a little bit more complicated, and there's a couple more interesting steps, right? So you're loading up more things for the spell to do, if you will, I suppose, right? All right, so then you give it to them to eat, and then that's it. Yeah, and then their friendship will become unbreakable, right? And I'm sure that is not too far off from a love potion, right? It's like, I didn't see the movie Obsession yet, but I think Obsession might be the way to go. Right? If things go wrong, to make undying friendship between husband and wife. Now, this, I mean, granted, like, it could be where, like, if I got like a friend, and then we just think about it's just like, bud, like are we always gonna be friends like this? Like, people change and yada yada yada. Like, if the two of you friends are talking about it, and be like, yeah, you're right. He's just like, you know what? I know this guy. He does like holy magic. He'll keep our friendship solidified. And then you ask some student of Abramelin to bake you these cakes. And then that's all in good accord, because like, that's the two of you in agreement to want to have this happen. And then that will probably do a number of things, right? I could think of a handful of friends where, if friendship is just friendship, and friendship can mean a number of things, I'd be good with doing that kind of a thing with a good friend. I mean, a lot of people, I think, don't want to be caught up like that, right? With a friendship. And, we probably doubt our own judgment. I mean, I certainly can feel like I've had bad judgment all too often. A long time ago, I never broke off from anybody. And that's because I always felt like anybody that, was just like I'm just, it was a doubt of the self, and then dealing with the hurt of being rejected by others or whatever. And then eventually, as you grow older, you start to feel ways in your heart, and you all of a sudden start becoming the person who does rejecting. And, believe me, whether it's the right thing and things work out good for you in the end, and as they have to for the other, it don't feel good. I think a lot of people do this kind of thing, and they're gonna feel good about it, right? Especially the way that they do it. Some people can be some people can just they can be careless and thoughtless about it. Like, that's it. That's just enough of you. And I don't owe you anything. I don't even owe you parting words. If you know, you know. To make undying friendship between husband and wife. So in a similar stance like this, if husband and wife, like, because like if I'm getting like married, if this woman's going to be like the mother of my children, it's like I may want to suffer a spell like this. Like, yes, let's make sure we're always in love. And well, the point is that it wouldn't be suffering then, right? So like it would move things would just work out in a very particular kind of way that is in agreement with each other's hearts. That's the hope you're looking for. So anyway, after sunset on the day of the marriage, before you consummate the marriage, take 2 turtle doves, male and female, and write with their combined blood on pure beeswax and new paper. Place it under the pillow of the marriage bed. At the same time, write with honey on a glass bowl, pour wine on it, and drink half. Give the other half to your spouse. You will have a friendly and happy marriage for the rest of your life. The words, your God is my God, and my people are your people. Where you go, I want to follow. If you die, I will want to die with you and be buried with you. Adonai, let this happen. Let only death separate us. So, wow, male and female, and write with their combined blood. So, okay, so there's an animal sacrifice here. I'm assuming that you're not just these little turtle doves. I don't think you're just doing a simple blood extraction. So, like, you kill the dove, you bleed it, you bury the dove. What do you do with the dove? You're getting dove blood? What? Why aren't you using your own blood? Like, like if you don't need a dead animal, you just need its blood, because it's not even saying slaughter. It didn't even say kill it. I'm just saying, like, I guess you could pinprick it. Like, why are we hurting the animal at all? Like, why does the dove's blood have to get involved? See, this I would depart completely, and I would use my blood and her blood. And I would probably still use turtle doves, but I don't think I wouldn't want to bleed them. Like, fuck no. Right? To me, to me, that's a violation. That's a violation of their animist spirit. Right? For the bird's soul in consciousness here. Like, no. I that does not compute with things. And I'm assuming that it's not necessary that it goes that far, because that's not the way he worded it, but it's bothersome to me. All right. For whether thou goest, I will go, and whether thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest, will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught put death part thee and me. From Ruth 1 through 16 and 17. Right? I mean, you're definitely not like, if you had to eat the dove, I probably would not have a big problem with it. But I'm not just going to fucking kill a dove just so I can get some blood for this ritual. Right? It's and it didn't say eat it. And I suppose they might eat turtle dove you see what I mean. Anyway, so we'll see how much weirder things get like that. Okay. Whoops, I'm in the wrong. Hold on. Scrolled the wrong scroll bar. 3. For marriage. If you want a marriage which may be difficult to go and end well, get up before sunrise and speak over water that has not been touched by the rays of the sun. Adonai, God of Abraham, grant me today what I ask, and give as proof your blessing to me and my father's house. That's all you got to say. You don't have to mention anything about the marriage. Remember me, my God Adonai, you the God, our father Abraham. Figure 12. Jewish couple from medieval times. They have the Jewish mark on their clothes to make identification more certain. The man is holding a bunch of garlic and a money bag, while the woman clutches a goose from the City of Worms archive. Okay, they have Jewish marks on their cloaks. They have to have like Jews like to find themselves in situations where they have to mark themselves on their clothing for identification. Why? But anyway, for fertility. Over a glass of almond milk, throw a little fine incense. Read over the glass Psalm 113 7 times and give it to the woman to drink. Do this for 7 mornings before breakfast. Also, on the first day, hang a gold, silver, or pure beeswax tablet on her. The tablet is besmoked, and on one side is written, "Praised is the name of Adonai from now to eternity. Blessed be the name of the Lord from this time forth and forevermore." And on the other side, "He who lets the unfertile live in the house and become the one who gives joy to children. Hallelujah." Wait, he who lets the unfertile live in the house and become the one who gives joy to children. What does it mean to have the unfertile live in the house? "To maketh the barren woman to keep house and to be a joyful mother of children, praise ye the Lord." Okay, I guess like are we talking about like women who can't give birth specifically? Is that all we mean? We talking about the castrati? Yeah, like who applies here? Just anybody who's unfertile. And if I'm letting them live in the house, but there isn't one in the house, but I have let it be, if there was one, does that count, or do I have to find one? Because is that really letting them in if they're not asking? It's just like I can't let you in unless you want to come in. If I bring you in, bringing you in is not letting you in. Because you have to bring yourself to the threshold, and then like the vampire, I have to let you in. Okay. Before we read 5, we're at the half an hour mark. So let me take that down, and we're going to find a thing. Tim Timony is here. How you doing, Tim? Else, why do you smell the Your interfile is a woman who are having the spell be done. Oh, is that what it is? It's because wait a minute, what this was called? Oh, okay, that's right. It's for fertility. I'm sorry. Yeah. For that's I'm not even thinking like. Yeah. Because I don't really like if you're trying to have a baby with somebody, you're just assuming that they can't fertilize, but not that they're infertile. It's the common language of the speak is where my brain went, just kind of running through it in just hearing it out loud. You know what I mean? Okay, let me see. Anything pops up in here? Think did I play any of that? I'll probably play one of those. Why not? Or this one. Let's try this one. Okay. Bear with me. Let me see what we got here. I'm going to play something from a band called Niveus. Oh, this is pretty new. This dropped like 3 days ago. They're an American black metal band. Okay. What we got in here? Let's see. We will do. What is that? I guess that's 6. Fine. All right. This is we're gonna do track 2, which is Servants of the Monolith. Okay, hold on. Oops. Back a pinch. Just a hair. There. Try to get the right. There we go. That should do it. Sorry. All right, let's pull it up. I shouldn't have the copyright issues this time. I'm obviously playing with different stuff. Let's see. Stop that one, and then there we go. All right, so we're just gonna roll with that.
It gives me snow. Eternal frost. Eternal night. The woods are cold. It gives me stone. Eternal frost. Eternal night.
Hey, there we go. All right, good. That was good. We're back. Let's pop back in here. Good. And oh, that's right. That's right. There we are. Good. All right. So that a man will love his wife. I'm telling you right now, I do not need that spell. If you're my wife, I'm going to love you because I'm not going to marry you if I don't love you. Anyway, that a man will love his wife. Before sunrise, the wife should take a new incense burner and place in it 7 newly lit coals. Place it under a fruiting apple tree. Spread incense on it. Go to running water and wash your hands and face. Write the words below with a gold or copper stylus on pure beeswax. Excuse me. So copper would be Venus, right? So the sun and Venus in here, gold and copper. Pick the nicest apple that has been well smoked and give it to the man to eat. The words, like an apple tree between wild trees, so is my friend among the young men. That says wild trees, right? So that's very interesting that a man will love his wife. Like, you can see the Adam and Eve connotation here. Like, does the irony? I wonder what Abramelin thought when, he came across this spell. As the apple tree among the trees of the woods, so is the beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste, from the Song of Solomon. So it's not invoking a Genesis thing, but and also an apple is just kind of it's kind of like a transliteration-ish kind of thing. It's like The word was, you know, in fact, in most ancient tongues, they had a less sophisticated way of getting into the particulars of the fruit bore from a tree, I guess. And I think that they had one word which meant a fruit that comes from a tree. And then for the Western sentiment, and of course to hijack the Garden of Idun and her golden apples of immortality, they changed it to apple in particular, even though we now like back in the day, a pear, a peach, a pineapple, so on and so forth, all these different things, they all would just be called apples in one particular tongue. Or other kinds of particular tongues would have a different word that would be the catch-all word for it. If the apples are not ready, do the same with flowers or with apple blossoms and give it to the man to smell. Okay, so it's being considerate of if apples are not in a pickable season, right? So it implies try to do this in the harvest season. If you're not doing it in the harvest season, this is your alternative ingredient. That a wife will love a man. The man does similarly as the wife in section 5. Under a rose bush, pick off 3 roses and give them to the wife to smell. On the wax he should write, as the rose is among the thorns, as so is my friend among the daughters. As the lily among thorns, so is my love among the daughters. Song of Solomon 2:3. 7. To confirm peace among 2 enemies. Write the words below with clarified honey 7 times in a beautiful glass bowl. Pour good white wine over it and let both people drink, but give it with your left hand. It should also be taken with the left hand. Weird. Why the left hand and why the left hand in both? Okay, so the left hand, the left side of the body, the left eye are receiving energies. The right side is projecting energies. So to be taken with the left hand, I get it. But to give with the left hand, I do not understand why it would be given with the same hand. As a lefty myself, I often look at these rituals and sometimes it feels right to flip the practice because I am left-hand dominant. When I do my personal magical workings, the primary fetish object is held in my left hand, and I will project with my left hand instead of receive energy with my left hand, because it's the hand that I play my guitar with, that I write with, and so on and so forth. Okay. Peace be between you. Peace be between your associates. Then your God will help you. Peace be unto thee, and peace be to thine helpers, for thy God helpeth thee. 1 Corinthians 12:18. Six, 7, 8. For a woman to excite a man. All right. Let's hear some divinely inspired aphrodisiac. Before sunrise, pick a wine grape leaf and write on it with a mixture of honey and myrrh. The words below, add your name and his name. Besmoke the leaf. Okay, this is making an assumption that the woman is casting these particular spells, right? I mean, it wouldn't shock me if there's just a lot of women doing this. Maybe women are the ones using this stuff. That it comes across as almost like a man's, because you're following like this father figure, right? But anyway, besmoke the leaf. Pick a newly opened rose in the morning before it has been touched by the sun's rays. Pulverize it, sprinkle it over the besmoked leaf. Let him smell it. This will awaken affection in his heart before the end of the day. So we're talking about a wine grape leaf. Okay. Interesting. My beloved is mine and I am his. He grazes under the roses until the day cools and the shadow lengthens. My beloved is mine and I am his. He freeth among the lilies until the day break and the shadows flee away. Song of Solomon 2:16 and 17. So realize that, okay, so a great deal of what this book is also basically doing, because every spell has a biblical passage as its principle. It's teaching you how to use the Bible as a spell book. Your Bible is now your spell book, and you're now taking verses from certain things. Like you'll notice how much there's Psalms, Song of Solomon, and like like for the war stuff, there's a couple of interesting chapters involving war and fights and warriors that you're bringing up, right? So there's an informing on using certain elements as per what's appropriate to the circumstances in the Bible verse that is kind of the underpinning principle by which you're getting God's grace in enacting the spell. Chapter 4, for birthing. For help with a dangerous birth. On a belt or strip of white wool lambskin, write the words below, besmoke it and tie it around the stomach, directly onto the skin. She will deliver within 7 hours. Okay. Okay, so white wool lamb's skin. Gotcha. Okay, so you have to skin a lamb. So, naturally, you're going to go through the things you got to go through. Here is a instance. Like I would say, like, this doesn't bother me like it does the turtle doves, because you don't think about eating turtle doves, right? You don't think about putting a use to it after you've killed it, right? Because why would you kill a turtle dove for any fucking reason other than you're hungry? And it's not really, we got chickens for that stuff, right? But here, this is a lamb, which we do think of as food, right? As well as a representation of a Christian Lord and Savior. But this is Old Testament. One of your lambs that you have, that you've prepared for slaughter, you're going to save a strip of its skin for this spell. And so you would want to procure that if you're not a goat herder. Look, Adonai, the children are ready for birth, and there is not enough strength for the delivery. If you, Zabaoth, do not help. Right? So this is, once again, invoking the Zabaoth, who is the Lord of Hosts, right? This Lord of Armies, Lord of Hosts is the dual meaning of this, right? So this would obviously be the hosting side of Zabaoth. This day is a day of trouble and of rebuke and blasphemy, for the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. 2 Kings 19:3 and Isaiah 37:3. Interesting, and I hate the phrasing of that. Anyway, for an easy birth, write the words below with olive oil on a silver spoon. Besmoke, wipe off the writings with the forefinger of your left hand. Rub the oil into her navel. I saw birth from the body of your mother. You are my God from the body of my mother. And do not be distant from her, because fear is near and I have no helper except you alone, God Zebaoth. Interesting how much the Zebaoth pops up here. It was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help. Psalm 22, 10 through 11. Chapter 5. Against water, fire, tempests, ghosts, and the devil. Let me see real quick. I think I can get some better mileage if I were to... There we go. Let me switch it back to one-page view. Because even I'm having a pinch of trouble reading it. Oh, okay, this got me off the wrong page. There we go. There we go. All right, all right. Now we're in a good spot. Against water, fire, tempests, ghosts, the devil. Okay. Against tempests, ghosts, and visions prepared by evil people. Okay. Here's going to be some cool protective magic against black magic. Let's see how this goes. Take flowing water. Throw in some grains of salt. Then with the blood of a wether or steer, into which has been mixed sulfur and gall. Write the words below. Wash this off with the salt water. Sprinkle this water at the tempest or against the vision. Adonai Zebaoth threaten them so that they will fly away. Haunt them like the wind puts dust upon the hills and like the tempest comes before the whirlwind. All right, so like when you've charged your magical charisma and you have brought yourself to a certain ability level to project the charge of your energy field through your nervous system, right? When you can put yourself in that zone, it's just like I was telling stories about how I don't really get too many nightmares anymore because I learned to fight back in my nightmares or learned how to escape my nightmares. And most of the time I fight back. Some of the times I found myself it depends on how I feel in the flow state of the moment in the dream, right? So you're really kind of you're bringing out it's kind of like it gets into the whole thing that I talk about the avatar, right? The avatar, it's like most people, they got like they're summoning like this this power from within them or whatever, right? It's the mantle of your avatar, it's the superhero badass energy field of your true self activated, right? It's the difference between Odin as the Wanderer and Odin as the High General of Asgard, right? It's either it's Odin the Hooded Man, which is you in your ordinary reality, and then Odin when he has to be the goddamn Witch King. And he throws off the cloak, and he's all fucking shiny with his insane helmet, and all of a sudden his wolves and his ravens have shown up, and the horse's thing, and he's got the big ass spear, and there he is in all of his deific glory, and it's intimidating to the thyrses surrounding him. So, but God shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off. And the point is that that's not Odin, it's not Thor, it's not Hercules, or whichever hero or warrior god that you're projecting, right? This is you through your avatar, and perhaps everything you've learned from that god, every way that god has rolled off on you, right? And so, it's kind of like when you're riding a bike, and then your dad's just like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm right behind you." But like, by the time you're thinking about it, your dad's just sitting there at the other end of the block, and you've gone all the way around, and you're in complete control, and you're like, wow, right? And you didn't need your dad at all because you figured it out, and he saw that you figured it. It's like that. That's what happens. So anyway, but God shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind. Isaiah 17:13. Against bad weather and continual rain. Fast 3 days and nights without eating and drinking. I'm pretty sure the bad weather will be over in 3 nights. Do this with deep devotion. Take some beeswax and make 7 tablets. Write on them the words below and besmoke them. You're making wax tablet. So it's a tablet, but it's made of wax. Interesting. Okay. Write on them the words below and besmoke them. Light charcoal under the open sky, and on each fire place a tablet and let it burn. The fire should be put out by the rain. You will see how the creatures willingly obey their creator. Adonai, our ruin, gives you no pleasure, because after the tempest, you let the sun shine, and you pour over us joy after the sorrows. Okay, so that's it. So I guess you let the tablet melt, if that's what you're doing, if you're burning the tablet, because it's made out of wax. Write on them the words below. So wait, you do 7 tablets, and then light charcoal almost on each fireplace a tablet and let it burn. The fire should be put on rain. Each fireplace a tablet. So you would need 7 fireplaces for 7 tablets, right? Because each fireplace a tablet and let it burn. So you're not just making 7 tablets. You're making 7 fireplaces to melt those tablets. 3, that evil people and magic cannot damage your house. Let me double check to where the end of the chapter comes. Okay, we're going to get to the end of chapter 6. We're going to hit a break. Or the end of chapter 5 and hit a break. Write on 7 tablets of pure beeswax. Bury them in 7 locations around your boundaries, or place them under the edges of the roof of your house. The house will be secure. Evil will not be able to approach. The words, the godless have pleasure from doing harm, but the seed of the righteous will be fruitful. Look how simple that is. That doesn't even need a Bible quote. Look at that. That just sits there. It's very secular. It's very like the Masons, like you just got to believe in some sort of God. This follows suit with that kind of thinking. 4, so that a drought does no harm. If only Job knew about some of these. Am I right? Am I right? Take clay or brick tiles, as many as you have fields. Maybe that was it. Like God's just like I bet Job won't even figure out any magic. All right, Satan, bet. All right, take clay or brick tiles, as many as you have fields. Wash them before sunrise with running water. Take an olive or almond twig and dip it in good almond or olive oil and write on the tiles. Besmoke them, and shortly before sunrise, bury them in the middle of each field. Even if rain does not come immediately, the night dew will bring the blessing of Adonai. Do this exactly with the following words. Bury the tablets immediately after sunset. The benediction of Adonai, the proof of your faithfulness, is in the blessing which is like a morning cloud full of dew, and like the dew that spreads itself in the morning, or better yet, comes as a red morning sky followed by rain, just like the evening rain that dampens the land. Then shall we know, if we follow on to know the Lord, his going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter and former rain unto the earth. For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew, it goeth away. Hosea 6, 3 and 4. Hey, what's up, young stitches? Good to see you here. Against bewitchment. The day before the Sabbath, take running water that has not been exposed to the sun. Speak the words below 7 times and throw incense into the water. Add 7 drops of olive oil. Let stand until night, and then wash your feet with it. This makes the wizard's bewitchment fall on his own head. An embittered person tries to damage, but a fierce angel will overcome him. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Proverbs 17:11. You know, if I go back up here, right, that evil people and magic cannot damage your house. Well, anyway, I'm not sure I had a place where I was going with that. So anyway, to put out fires started by evil people and spirits. Stretch out your right hand towards the fire and speak. See, Leviathan, my God, whom I honor, can easily rescue me from your fire and from your hand. Oh, we're invoking Leviathan now. Isn't that lovely? Then spit 7 times towards the fire. It will disappear immediately. Right. This sea monster is kind of like this. Leviathan is interesting in the Bible. It's not a highly mentioned thing. It's a big sea monster. It's the closest thing in the Bible to Jormungandr in the Norse tradition. And I wouldn't invoke Jormungandr for shit. But I would probably want to do something more along the lines of Njord, the seafaring god. So I would look for something appropriate in the prose of a Vanir seafaring pagan. Anyway. And then we will get to chapter 6 after this this next break. And I am going to find out in just a moment precisely what break. What do I want to play for a break? I'm letting YouTube throw me suggestions. Okay, let's find out who these guys are. This is, okay, I'm going to click on this. All right, good. This is Baal Sagoth. A black moon broods over Lemuria. So I had Lemuria in the title, so I wanted to go with it. It's got a kind of a Castlevania-esque looking cover with the silhouette of a night castle. And now I want to pick a song. Wait, that's 5, 6, that's 7 minutes. I like the title though. Nah, we'll go with let's go with Witch Storm because we were just talking about floods and stuff. All right, we'll try that. All right. Oh, yep, there. Okay, we're good. Okay, back. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's, whoops. Let's pop this back on. All right, and frame it. There we go. Chapter 6. To burst open cliffs and walls. Interesting. To burst cliffs and stones in time of need. If you are chased by an enemy and you cannot proceed because of a steep cliff, call 3 times to heaven, Adonai, Adonai, Adonai. With outstretched hands, hit the cliff while saying, the mountain melt like wax in front of Adonai, the ruler of the whole earth. The hills melted like wax at the presence of the Lord, in the presence of the Lord of the whole earth. Psalms 97:5. Oh, that's interesting. You know, I want to see, is that a psalm praising the god's energy weapon? I want to look this up real quick. I'm going to use my phone so that way I'm not threatening to crash my computer. Psalms 97:5. What's going on in Psalms 97:5? All right, we're going to check. Where's the trailer? Where is it? Read the full okay, it's literally, yeah, that's literally the whole thing. Okay, it's 12 verses. New International Version, okay? From Bible Gateway. The Lord reigns, let the earth be glad, let the distant shores rejoice, clouds and thick darkness surround him, righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. Wow, the Lord is surrounded by thick darkness. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Fire goes before him and consumes his foes on every side. Clouds of thick darkness, fire comes before him. Remember, this is a dragon. This is a fucking dragon, right? I've said it many times. The allusions to Yahweh having a draconic nature. His lightning lights up the world. The earth sees and trembles. The lightning would also be part and parcel of the fire breathing, because there's some interesting studies, some interesting finds in esoterica to suggest that true physiological beasts that we would know as possibly dinosaurs or dragons or some of the Ice Age creatures or what is it? Some of these, they had a certain chemical in their gullet, and they had a certain electrical spark trigger at the roof of the mouth as part of their natural anatomy, and they were, so basically they had a natural like ignition switch in the roof of their mouth and an igniter fluid in their gullet. On top of also, I think there was either helium or hydrogen in their bellies as well. And all of this is just like the Flight of Dragons cartoon too. So this guy found out all this stuff from other sources, and then I'm sitting there, I'm just like, oh shit, that was in all those sources. That's exactly what they did in Flight of Dragons. Have you ever watched the cartoon Flight of Dragons from the 80s, 80s dark fantasy stuff? Oh my God, it is so fucking good. It's quite the allegory on the alpha, the Alpha Draconians. Anyway. So the mountains melt like wax before the Lord of all earth. The heavens proclaim the righteousness, and all people see his glory. All who worship images are put to shame. Those who boast in idols worship him, all you gods. Zion hears and rejoices, and the villages of Judah be glad because of your judgments. So this one is specifically relating to the tribe of Judah, too. So that gets you into things that would hold water in the southern kingdom in particular. Okay, so for you, Lord, are the most high over all the earth. You are exalted far above all gods. Other gods, once again, other gods. Let those who love the Lord hate evil, for he guards the lives of his faithful ones and delivers them from the hand of the wicked. Light shines on the righteous and joy on the upright in heart. Rejoice in the Lord, you who are righteous, and praise his holy name. Right? So this is a standard prayer of my God is a horrible, terrible monster, and I'm on his side. Right? It's the my God is the biggest, scariest motherfucker on the planet. He's going to burn your fucking lands to the ground. He's going to level your fucking mountains. He's going to have rolling thunders and all these different things, right? That's the storm god qualities, the dragon god qualities. So, I mean, there's several different gods you can evoke. I mean, Odin is like that. He's Saturnian, storm-like. And of course, Thor, who is Jupiterian, storm-like. So on and so forth. Okay. Then, with amazement, you will see the mighty wonders of God. Take care to follow the second commandment of God. If you are locked between iron doors by an enemy, the greater the danger, the greater the wonder and help of Adonai. Hold the highest wonders in great respect and use them carefully. What follows is true. I have tried it on your cousin Esau. If you are caught and in danger of injury and death, fall on your knees and call fervently to Adonai that he will hear you and help you in your need. Then go to the gateway and say 7 times in different ways. Adonai, we want to thank you for the grace and wonders that you show to humankind. So they want you to rephrase that 7 times, that little statement. Right? And, this is like a God, I need a bailout kind of prayer, right? Things have gone real wrong. Things have gone sideways. I've been a faithful servant, this whole thing. Depending on circumstances, either way, I wouldn't approach this in that way because of the whole thing that I talk about with the pagan animist relationship unto the nameless creator or unto your relationship with your ancestral gods. Oh, that men would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. Psalms 107:15. Then write or scratch the words below on the door. If this is not possible, then write with spit using your right index finger. Remember David and his promise. Under this, write Yah And below this, write, he breaks armored doors and removes rivets from iron. For he hath broken the gates of brass and cut the bars of iron in sunder. Strike against the door 7 times. As soon as you see the door open, say before leaving, we who are released by Adonai and those who have been saved from their need should say, praise Adonai, because he is merciful and his grace lasts for eternity. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Psalm 107:1. Chapter 7, protecting houses and buildings from earthquake and thunder. That a house be safely protected from misfortune. Once again, Job would have needed this. Job needed this book. Take a clean 7-sided building block that has never been wet. Oh, a clean 7-sided building block that has never been wet. Wash it before sunrise with sunrise with running water, and scratch into it with a new gold or silver stylus the words, blessed be the one who fears God and finds pleasing his commandments. He will have surplus in abundance, and his righteousness will be carried forever in his seed. Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, that delighteth greatly in his commandments. His seed shall be might upon earth. The generation of the upright shall be blessed. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteous endureth forever. Psalms 112, 1-3. Besmoke it 7 times, the last time after sunset. Then bury it 1 ell deep under the same house. Mark the place with each new moon after sunset. Burn incense at the same place. Do this for 3 months. Interesting. And 3 months, that's 90 days. That gets the 9 in there. Hold on a second. Let me double check something, because he wouldn't have known this. I think it's 7-sided. Yes. I am going to take this a step further because of discoveries, modern discoveries. The chestahedron. The chestahedron is a 7-sided it's a 7-sided platonic solid, effectively. It's another state of it's another basic form. The chestahedron. I'll have you can go look up the chestahedron, named after Martin Chester, who developed the chestahedron and worked out all the geometry of it. Chestahedron, the chestahedron. The chestahedron is effectively the shape of the core mantle of the earth. It is the shape of the human heart. Thus it's also a shape of a torsion field. The chestahedron's this amazing freaking shape, which answers for a lot of semi-strange architecture that's out there. It's got this kite shape in it. It's very strange because it's 7-sided, but it fits the definition of a platonic solid, because everything is of equal, I think, length. I think everything's of equal length or something. Like the measurements are all proper for it. That's the point. Chapter 8, addressing courts and potentates. To get favor from an important person. All right, so everybody bitching and complaining about Donald Trump. This apparently is the way to magically appeal to the Don. Let's find out if it works. Before sunrise, wash your hands and face in running water. Take olive oil and write into your left hand, "Oh Adonai, let your ears listen to my prayer and give me mercy from your heart." Hold the hand over incense and say, "Hear my God in heaven. You, great and awesome God who keeps his promises and gives mercy to those that love you and keep your commandments. Let your ears listen to the pleas of your servant and let me experience grace today. Generate mercy in the eyes of Lord. So that's saying Lord, like not Lord your God, but like Lord Devonshire, it's just like some guy with the title of Lord. O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayer of thy servant and to the prayer of thy servants who desire to fear thy name and prosper. I pray thee, thy servant, this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man. Nehemiah 1:11. Then wash the hands in a basin with running water. Sprinkle this onto your face, body, and clothes. You achieve everything that you can use. 6, to go before court. Oh, I'm going to need this one. In general, I didn't do nothing wrong. Bake an unleavened bread before sunrise. Write on it with honey the words below. Eat it. Wash your face 7 times with water that has not been exposed to the sun. Go confidently to the judge. Your mouth will speak to his ear, but the words of Adonai will go to his heart. You do not judge people for humans, but for Adonai, the same Adonai that is with you in the court. All right, that I totally get, because even though I've never done that ritual before, because I used to be a bit of a, I tried to be my own paralegal. I certainly put myself through the ringer with a particular traffic ticket that I felt was wrongfully and spitefully put on me, and I wanted to fight the principle of a traffic ticket, because I was really hoping I was going to be able to master what I had been learning on the internet from natural law. I was trying real hard with that. I was listening to quite a few people, 2 of them in particular. One of them was a really cool guy, but things just changed. And then the other one was very weird, and things did not go well. And I dissociated from that person after a little while because I was starting to realize X, Y, and Z things about it. Yeah. Anyway, long story short is I put myself through the ringer, trying and learning a thing or two about paralegal in the process. And looking back at it, I'm honestly, I'm kind of glad I at least fought as hard as I did, but I was having a hard time dealing with the failure of it. I failed, but I learned a lot through the experience. And what's up, Sherlock Holmes? All right, we're at chapter 9 and it's 9:30. So we're gonna take this and let's see. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna try and run around different things, and I'm gonna try and keep things on the indie label side of things. All right, I'm going to go back up here. Okay, I don't know. This is Hudoba. Price is Kernine. They're Croatian, and so I didn't pronounce that correctly because I don't know how Croatian sounds to even attempt. So whatever I'm calling this is not its proper pronunciation by any stretch. So I'm going to just take a guess on what I want to do here. We'll just go with Sure. This is Otak I Progletskvo. I think that's it. Yikes. Hold on. And it's basically track 3 on this album. All right, give me a second. Let's put the screen back on. Share. There we go. Okay, here we go.
Jer se spominjete samo u jednoj šifri 20 ljudi ubijeno, a 11 tijela je izumoreno slučajno. Neki su zaprali da su smatrali da su važni neki ranama,
Good. All right. Those guys are nasty. I love it. I'm loving it. It's good shit. All right. I'm happy. Next, let's get it on. Go to share screen. I love the pacing of this book. It's easy to read. I feel like I'm getting a lot read. Every single like every single segment. And then just like the 20 some odd minutes of it just goes like that. Just goes like real effing fast, whether I've made a lot of commentaries or just read it straight through. And thank you all for being here. I know how many of you are really enjoying it. Chapter 9, In Times of Hunger and Starvation. This superb and true secret I used during the last big famine with amazement and found true. This effect with its secrets is the one prophet Elijah in 1 Kings and Elisha in 2 Kings worked. Elisha's I believe is the same one who did the she-bears. the brutal she-bears. I think I brought them up yesterday. It is also found in the stories of the Christian prophet who fed many people with a little bread. The Christian prophet. He's talking about Jesus. I love it. The reason why it works can be found in the holy secrets and in 3 elements of the blended Kabbalah. Oh, he put the Kabbalah in the blender? Did he hit frappe? This is how it is done. Pray evening and morning for 7 consecutive days. Pray. And I find it funny. He didn't fucking bother to like say his name or address that some people thought he was his Messiah. But he didn't have a problem citing him, which I find also funny. I find it fucking funny. That's just that whole fucking thing I just read is hysterical to me. Anyway, this is how it is done. Pray evening and morning for 7 consecutive days. Pray seriously and with concentration to Adonai. After the morning prayer of the last day, take a leaf from an edible plant or tree, whichever is convenient. Write on it with honey, dew, or rainwater the words below. Besmoke it and give it to someone to eat. You know, I'm assuming that if you can use rainwater and we're talking about on a leaf, then the writing doesn't have to stay. You know, it would be the equivalent of me just like putting this stuff like on the tip of my finger and it's like practically clear or whatever. And then I just take an item and I'm just right. Like nothing has to be written on. I'm writing on it. I'm just not leaving a visible mark. Right. But you're going through the writing process. You're making the word. You're still going through the motions of the letter as if you were inking it. Right. That's pretty interesting to me. Right? You just have to have something that represents the transfer from the writing utensil to the thing written upon, whether it's visible or not. Pray seriously. Okay, morning for 7 consecutive. Pray seriously and with concentration to Adonai, right? Whichever is convenient, right? Something to eat. It will nourish him for 7 days without hunger. In this way, a person can survive 49 days without food or eating anything else, but no longer. Oh, that's interesting. So that's longer than the biblical flood by 9 days, but it doesn't go, but it's specifically 49. Isn't that fascinating that it's so specific to 49? Which, you know, falls in the middle of a month. So you've gone over a month. Now, is 49 days might be appropriate for possibly going from, say, the new moon to not the next full moon, but the full moon after that. Because if you're thinking about 28 days, right? 28, 30-ish days for 1 month. And then you want to tag about 14 days on top of that to get from new moon to full moon. Right? You're going all the way to the next new moon and then maybe to the... So that might be why it's 49 days. Because 49 days might be right in the pocket of going from new moon to the second full moon in the cycle from thence. Right? Because if you go from 28, you'd be 38. Right. You'd be 38. You'd be somewhere around 38 and then 4. So you'd be at like 42 days. So then, so that would give you actually, well, actually that's like 3 weeks. So it doesn't quite line up. It's strange. But anyway, it's okay. All right. But that's interesting to think about. Maybe 49 days has something to do with, maybe it has something to do with a Mercury transit. I don't know. This was the famous bread that was shown to the prophets in the desert. It was brought to them by the angel right on one side. Behold, bread, I want you to rain from heaven. And on the other side, right, manna. Right. In times of hunger, right? Hunger and starvation. All right. Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you. Exodus 16:4. Chapter 10. To make oneself invisible to one's enemies. There's an interesting magical practice that is in a very, very, very old Thomas Sheridan video, which it would be on the channel that used to be called Open Source Occult TV, where he would, which was kind of like the predecessor to the produced shows that he's doing now. And in this one, he does talk about how you use magical focus using a candlelight, a dark room, and a mirror to focus your intentions in a certain way. And you can make yourself disappear in the mirror and be able to see the flame behind you in the mirror when you do this. Right. And there's a whole process you go through, and it can take several days. You get better at it. And then I think this practice then allows you, it eventually unlocks it as like a daily talent. And then you can make yourself turn invisible out there in public. It might work similar to the talent of obfuscation, which is, which as a nerd comes from Vampire the Masquerade, which is a vampire talent of clouding one's mind's eye in that they cannot see you or they do not see you as you appear. Okay, to disappear from the sight of an enemy. During your flight, remove your left shoe, circle it 7 times around your face and head. Okay, then face your enemy and in the air, strike out against him 7 times while speaking. Interesting. Adonai punishes the wise in their duties and destroys the advice of the hypocrite that they walk in darkness during the day and reach out at midday as if it were night. You will see great wonders. The blindness of your enemy will be to your benefit. That's interesting. In the air, strike out against him. So, okay, so you would circle 7 times around your face and head. So I guess you would probably take it, like pretend this is a shoe, my remote. I guess you just go, you probably do that, right? Just say remove it, circle it 7 times, strike out against it. It doesn't say whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. I would assume you'd want to do it clockwise because you're conjuring up a circle of protection. I think that's basically what you're doing. It's kind of like activating your halo because we're talking about circling your head and then strike out in the air. So 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 what? I just like fucking shadow box. I just take 7 shadow box strikes. That's pretty interesting. I hope I remember this one in a bind. Adonai pushes the wise in their duties and destroys the advice of the hypocrite that they walk in darkness during the day and reach out at midday as if it were night. You will see great wonders. The blindness of your enemies will be to your benefit. You know, like this is kind of like Jedi mind trick kind of stuff, you know, where you see, especially in the first movie, where Obi-Wan can like walk past like stormtroopers and they don't notice him kind of thing. So anyway, the end of the second book of Abraham the Jew. So, my dear son Lamech, you have a great treasure, the most useful workings that have come out of the blended secret or Kabbalah. Although all came out of the Kabbalah, there are none which have added to the Kabbalah. All have bits of the Kabbalah mixed in. All depend on it, some more and some less so. As I have said in my big work on the Kabbalah and also experienced to your older brother Joseph, when I told him about the usefulness of the Kabbalah in the 12 families of magic or wisdom, all are dependent to a greater or lesser extent on the Kabbalah. Without the Kabbalah, none could stand alone. So by necessity, all needed to be blended with the Kabbalah. Well, which is interesting because I'm not like, I need to be studied on the Kabbalah, but I do know enough about the study of the Kabbalah to know that there's plenty of technical practice in it. And I'm wondering where any of that technical practice is coming into play, like, because I don't see that yet. Like all of this stuff is all just it's all very simple performative art. You know, you're writing things in common tongue. You're not making any strange sigils. You're not even drawing the circle of the magician. I'm going to remind you that by and large, most of this stuff, you know, you need to draw the circle of the magician before any of these. That should go without saying, I suppose. But in a book like this, it probably should have been said. So this doesn't want to work with concepts like the magical circle. But anyway, that's what I recommend, the magical circle. Our correct wisdom, as I shall discuss in book 3 and 4, has nothing to do with this material. It is independent and stands by itself as a true wisdom that is effective without any additions. I want to tell you again, do not use the art without thought or for the wrong reasons. If you do, you will awaken the punishment of God and have bad luck strung around your neck. If you want God to help you, you need to start correctly. First, you need to trust God completely and never doubt his mercy. Second, you need to fear God and obey his commandments. Third, you need to behave correctly and be a pious man. This is what we call a liability shield. Anyway, if you do this, you will have everything you wish. Ignore it and you will lose mercy, help, and hope. Altogether, you can see from the above examples that such recipes have to be done with the fear of God, but not for evil reasons, because they are grounded in and done with the word of God. Right? And so there we get into the problem of saying this is the word of God and such. And, you know, as a Jew of his kind, he, what, I don't like it when people propensate the whole, like, word of God thing. Right? You know, but that's where it comes in. It should be expected, right? I'm wondering if the pagans are in question with him are doing it like this themselves, because that's I'm sure he wasn't comparing notes. I'm just hung up on that because it was mentioned, and it applies to me. But the point being is that I am sure that this has to be in accord with him. Right. And yeah, Tim Timony's saying God. Yes, yeah, exactly. But whether it's God or got is irrelevant. The point is that your relationship with the God or the god is one of fear, right? It's one of fear and one of appreciation for for certain things. And here's the problem that lies within, right? This is treating a pagan god as the absolute creator, and then having you have, just like with the whole religion, right? Having you have your relationship with this absolute creator like that of a pagan god. And this is where all the problems are coming in, right? And, you know, because they got like the Jews picked one pagan god, and then they just put everything into it, right? Like they wrote everything down about it. They worked to extract as much comprehensive meaning out of it as possible. Then later on would pick up the qualities of other Sumerian entities that fit the bill, so that way they could be erased and left only with Yahweh. And then that spread into Rome. All right. I wonder why something like Christianity wasn't invented when in the time of the first kingdom of Israel under Cyrus, right? How come Christianity was created out of the Roman version of Israel and not the Babylonian version of Israel? What was so different? Why was there not the need in that time? Right? Because effectively, the Gospels is kind of like this, used as this mind funnel for history, right? It's like before Jesus came around acting like a complete sweetheart of a kind and civil man who paid his taxes and donated everything to the poor, and all, you know, and all the, you know, and all the happy horse shit that defined the age of Pisces. In the last age of the pagan, in the age of Aries, we basically acted like there was never, that men were not capable of being kind like Jesus. But if you read the Jewish War, regardless of the agenda of the Flavians, to me, it all reads like, no, in the Jewish world that they think is a somewhat similar to the Gentile world in a basic human sense, they're the ones that were so out of whack because of how they rationalized everything through their rights that I think Rome tried to invent Jesus, saying like, maybe the Jews will get with the fucking empire if we could fake their Messiah. Because, like, Christians are really blind to how insulting their faith is to them, and they do not care. The book of Hebrews makes the worst argument I've ever heard for why the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is equivalent to a sin offering. It fits none of the marks of a sin offering, and is none of the ritual context by which that particular man died. whether it be as a mythological narrative character or some sort of record of a proper man that existed. Okay. Note that when you use one of the recipes or give another person a recipe for practice or use, which you can do for pious people, but certainly not for evil people. So you hear that, YouTube algorithm? Suppress the shit out of this, because everybody I don't know is evil. See, I'm giving YouTube permission to suppress things so I don't get cursed. Anyway, always give it to the person's own language. Let him practice and use it in his mother's tongue. It is no use in another language. How can a person ask for mercy from Adonai? How can Adonai come and help if you yourself do not know what you say or ask for? This would be a big mistake, a mistake that many people make. Let me say something to amend this. This was before the modern tongue was invented, in which language has become more and more of a crude nature. And there's an to mother tongue. And it's refreshing. He's saying, like, don't teach them how to do any of this in Hebrew. Let them do it in whatever their language is. Either way, it's great because it encourages translation. It is true that our holy language is the most comfortable and strongest before God, but how few are there who know it and speak it? Hey, motherfucker, go ahead. And I want you to try to, you, Mr. Jew, to try praying in Old Norse and see how it goes for you. I dare you. Pray to Yahweh in Old Norse. I want to know how that goes. I believe there's a lot of, I think a lot of Icelanders in the Christian era were doing that. Christian magic and whatnot. I'm pretty sure a lot of Christian magicians were among the Christian Vikings, right? Because obviously Christianity was of a certain level of complex that Christians and Vikings would do this thing together. And you ought to think about what that means, considering being a Viking was, implies sinful criminal activity akin to piracy terrorism. Which is why the Norsemen were not always Viking. It was just a major reputation they had when they were showing strength towards the end of their days. It is true that our holy language is the most strongest before God. I knew that there were speak it. Who knows if you can manage it? Therefore, I have written this whole book in simple, everyday language. Keep to this. It is better and safer to do this than to take a risk, because those who like danger will die by it. So when I'm doing my magic, there's a lot more silence involved because I don't like doing it in English for the problems of English today. And the way we've assumed certain choice words. So because I don't 100% trust in a magical context my typical choice of words and speaking, I have to put a lot more careful time to it. So I'm very minimal on it. And typically when I've got a command of Old Norse words, those are incorporated. Maybe one day I get the whole thing out, right? It's part of the reason why I'm always so hesitant on the Old Norse name for Temple of the White Dragon, which is Komandra Horgraf Huitaz Ormir, right? Komandra Horgraf Huitaz Ormir. Yeah. Yeah, I think I got all of that right. See, I'm not even 100% sure right there yet. And that's just like 4 words, basically. You know, so it takes me a long time before I'm just saying Jin region with heart-centered confidence in, yes, that word, right? Other words I've put to heart-centered consciousness because of how much I wanted to embrace them conceptually. Drenger, which is kind of like a more proper and noble version of MGTOW. You know, it's when you have to go off on your own to do the right thing, to go face certain dangers and do the right thing. It's got a certain particular meaning of doing something honorable and courageous that is against the grain of what you would ordinarily do. It's the kind of the best way I can put that forward in the mystical context of using the word Drenger, right? And so over time, you build a lexicon. And I think that it's okay to like throw, you know, to speak something in English and then put in the Old Norse terms as needed. And you can, and I think it's just as valid that way if A, you've got your poetic prose down, B, you don't worry so much about the words that are kind of like the sentence structure words. Like if I take this sentence here, right? It is, and then true, right? So true would not be a sentence structure word, but it and is are, that, our, the, you might be able to say most is kind of, it's kind of a flexible word like that, right? But then words like true, holy language, comfortable, you might want to swap that out for something in the archaic tongue if you have a magical purpose for reading this as if a kind of a incantation of some sort. If you become a learned Jew, then write and use the holy words in holy language. If you are a common person, then use the language that you understand. If you are a Greek or a foreigner, then write in Greek, Egyptian, German, or other language. Always understand what you ask for and write. When using incense, which is in our holy law, is frequently used instead of offerings and prayers, avoid strange and unnatural incense that would be a cruelty rather than an offering to Adonai. Yeah, very much so. I picked up some cheap incense at like kind of like a bodega that I thought I'd try out. And the shit, it was like, I can't remember like if it was like an Indian place or not, but the sticks are basically fucking curry flavored. And I said, oh, this smell might be interesting, but I don't know if I'm going to use it for magic, but maybe I'll so I tried just lighting one for atmosphere, just hanging around, not doing magic. And I was like, I was just like, at the end of the day, it's just like, no, it makes me smell like I'm a sweaty curry Indian. And that's some of the worst, like, Indian men who have curry smelling body odor are crazy to me. Crazy. It's a little bit offensive to the olfactory. No offense, my wonderful Indian cousins. So use the incense that I describe in book 3. This is pleasing to Adonai. He mentions it in his law. If you do this, you will avoid the experience of evil that befell Aaron's sons when they brought foreign incense and fire, because what the Almighty God requests should be done properly to the smallest detail. To do otherwise is neither merciful nor helpful, but rather brings an unforgivable, terrible, and serious punishment, like mentioned above, to Nadab and Abihu, and many other examples in the Bible. I have said enough of the recipes that I have mostly tested for myself. These were given to me by inspiration in the works of the highest. Everything else I have learned or has been given to me by my father Abramelin and other wise men. All else belongs to the Kabbalah or Holy Secret in part or in whole. Everything else is uncountable in a detailed description of the usefulness of the Holy Secret, or even in the other book containing the fruit of the Talmud. One without the other is all too high and difficult for you. Enjoy and be satisfied with this. Thank Adonai and his hierarchy that has told us and given to us so much. Okay. Right, and then there's some of this. Hang on. Well, isn't there there's a rotate button? I know it. I could have sworn I saw a rotate button. All right, I don't know where the rotate button is. I had it before, so I'm not going to bother. You can see all this, right? All right. Then there's book 3. So where are we at here? So we've been about 2 hours. We just hit the end of this book. Yeah. All right. I think 2 hours is good tonight. I've done a lot. I've done a lot tonight, not just on this stream, but just in general. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I've been working. I've been working with a lot of people over the weekend, so I've definitely driven some hard and high content, fun stuff. So thank you so much. Let me double check here. Do I have my, hold on, this is set for, let me go to, hold on. I know what I'm doing, don't I? Shoot. Let me go to, let me see if I can pull up my outro. I just have to go to the, I have to go to the open file location. Thank you. QRST. Oh wait. I think I called it outro, didn't I? Wait, there was this. Is that the one I was using? I think so. Yeah. I keep forgetting that I called it this. All right. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can load the outro here. If I can move that. Present. Here we go.